So we wanted to make a quick video on exactly why we live in our tiny house. I know that a lot of people are interested in tiny houses and kind of interested in the lifestyle and like why people make the decisions. And I know that everyone's decision is different as to why they move into tiny houses, but these are our condensed 5 reasons why we decided to make this lifestyle choice.
I guess the first reason why we live in a tiny house is because I've always liked tiny spaces and smaller houses, cabins, things like that. It's always seemed appealing, and there's just something cozier about small spaces.
Living in a small space was never anything that I had thought about in the past. Until I met Mitchell, and then after we got married in 2013, the next step, we were living in an apartment, so the next step was to, for most people, would be to buy a home. And we looked at a lot of things on the market, and we just, nothing really appealed to us for the price.
Yeah, there were nice houses that you can buy, but the fact that you have to spend $100 or even $100,000, whatever you're going to spend on it, that just seems like a lot of money for no real reason. We don't need a house that size. We don't need 3 bedrooms, 2 baths right now. So for us, the tiny house works. For the time being, we did build it to where we can add on later as we require the space, but for now, we just didn't really see a reason to spend that much money, and you get a lot of responsibility when you have a mortgage that you're going to have to pay on for 15 or 30 years. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, a lot of upkeep that isn't really necessary if you don't need it.
Yeah, and we just didn't think that it was going to bring any value, like it wasn't going to make us any happier. In fact, we felt like it was going to make us sadder because we'd have to pay for it for 30 years. We wanted something that could be ours in a shorter time span than 30 years. So that was pretty much our second reason. We really wanted it to be ours, and we wanted it to feel like it was ours.
Reason number 3 is less stress overall with cleaning, having to find places for things that you buy. It's just less stress. We don't really go out and buy a lot of stuff that we don't need. So that's one thing. You're not like, oh, where am I going to put this? Because you don't have the space for everything, and that kind of declutters your life.
Yeah, it definitely helps you get rid of things that you realize that are no longer serving you. You don't have the space to store old things away for really long periods of time and forget about them. Yeah, you don't have time, and then you also don't feel as like guilty for getting rid of stuff. You're like, I just don't have room for it. Yeah. You know. So that just makes it a lot easier, and I think that for me as a female, speaking to other females, maybe even other males, I'm a big like nester, so I love to make things feel really homey and cozy and fit our needs and lifestyle, and it's a lot easier to do that in a smaller space than it is in a bigger space, because a lot of the times people have rooms that they just put lots of furniture in because the space is
available.
Right, yeah.
So if you don't have the available space, you kind of have to narrow it down to the things that you truly like that make your life happy.
Yeah, it narrows it down to the things that you love the most.
The 4th reason that we live in a tiny house is the financial freedom that it allows us. Like we said earlier, the 30-year mortgage, that you don't have to worry about that with a tiny house. We took a bank loan out, and we pay roughly $400 a month for 3 years, and then the tiny house is paid for. With that allows us to not have to work jobs that we don't really want to work. We can kind of pick and choose what we do for work due to having lower bills, which we'll do another video in the future on what we do for work.
Yeah, it's nice to not be like absolutely have to have the like typical 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 type of job to sustain your living.
Because some people are miserable working their jobs, I'm sure, just because they have to.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to like share our experience with people, because we, after we graduated from college, we were those people. Like we worked 8 to 5 every day, and we would come home and we would have dinner, and we would maybe watch a movie, and we would go to bed, and it was the same cycle like over and over and over again. And I think that living in the tiny house allows us to have more freedom in kind of what we do.
Being in the small space, it allows us to spend time together. Like in the afternoons, we are both usually off work by 3 o'clock or so, and we can spend time with the dogs or hang out together. Just do fun things that we want to do.
Yeah, get to spend time with friends, get to spend time with family that, like, we could randomly see our family at odd times that most people would be working. And then I think another thing as far as, like, being together is that, like, it kind of strengthens your relationship. I'm going to tell on us, but we had a little disagreement earlier. And, like, living in a small space, it's like you have to work it out because there's really nowhere to go. You can't, like most people would get mad and, like, probably go to another room and close the door and lock it and, like, not speak to each other. But, like, when you live in a small space, you really have to work on it. And so I think that in that sense, it has strengthened our relationship for sure.
I agree. If you are in an unhappy situation, it is possible to change, and you make your own reasons why you want to live in a tiny house.
Yeah, maybe not even live in a tiny house, but maybe just downsize from what you currently have, or just, like, kind of get brainstorming in other ways that you can live your life that would make you happier, because everyone is definitely different. So.
That's true.
Okay.
So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. And
follow us on Instagram at TinyHouseTinyLand. And let us like our video. And if there's any other topics that you want us to discuss or talk about, or if there's anything at our tiny house that you want to see that you don't think we've covered, then let us know in the comments below.
Let us know.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.